Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Pvpoke's best team for the Open Great League. They updated their list for this again. I think the list kinda showcases what teams have success for the training set that you can do on Pvpoke. Basically, if you don't really know how to play PvP as well, there's a training option on Pvpoke which can kinda showcase how to play it, and some people still use it. I don't really use it. Like, I used it in the beginning of the game period, so I haven't really used it in like ages, but yeah, it definitely can help you to improve your PvP skills as well, just as something where you don't have to lose elo or anything like this. You play against a bot, and basically the best team that performed there is the team that we're using here today. We're going to have the lead of the Greedent. We're going to have in the back the Skarmory as well as the Whiscash, and this team worked out pretty well for me, I would say. I climbed back up to over 3000 MMR, so over Legend Elo. So basically I hit Legend with this team, while I hit Legend already like 2 weeks earlier. I think even like 3 weeks earlier. This team still, I guess, kind of works out right now. Like, definitely something that you can still use to play. But there's still some things I kind of want to talk about towards this team. It is not perfect, and I feel like there could be some improvements to be made. And yeah, this is kind of the nature of, I feel like, the training teams from Pvpoke, because at the end of the day, who is going to do training battles on Pvpoke? Mainly people that want to improve their skills, or like people that are maybe a little bit newer into the game. And so teams that you see sometimes there might be a little bit, I don't know, like not all of them are going to be balanced. You have to be always a little bit careful with taking them. But some of them, of course, are good. Like, for example, this one I was able to climb up to, I think, 3022 elo range or something like this. So it definitely can work out. Here we're going to see our Shadow Whiscash going to be able to get them low enough, but can we knock them out with a Brave Bird? Before they can knock me out, they go for a charge move, but this should only be a serve based on what I was counting. It is just a serve, and so is this Brave Bird going to be enough for the first battle? Already a very close battle here, a nail biter. It is going to be enough and we can win this game. I feel like they kind of changed the animation for Brave Bird. I feel like it looks like a little bit cooler now as well, but maybe I'm wrong with this. Maybe it's just like something you can see a little bit easier with the new background that we have here right now as well, which is kind of nice. Also, what is kind of annoying, I recently asked like if I should make a video about like some stuff that kind of helps you fix your frame rate during battles and helps out with this. With the new update, this is not possible anymore. Like, there was like an option to basically go ahead and turn off everything that works in the background on on Pokemon Go itself, but this is not possible anymore. You're gonna end up in a black screen with that, which is just really annoying. But yeah, so this video is not going to happen because of this. But yeah, we're going to see here the team of the Greedent, the Whiscash, as well as the Skarmory. How does this team work? Basically, what you want to do is you want to align your lead. Like, your lead kind of wants to win the first matchup, basically. That's kind of your main priority, because this would allow you to align yourself later on. Basically, what you have in the back is the best core in PvP right now. Like, it is kind of the best core that you can run, which is the Whiscash plus the Skarmory. It is just a perfect core to run currently, because both cover each other's weaknesses perfectly. Whiscash only having the double weakness to the grass type, and kind of like a weakness to like dragon type Pokemon, because water is going to be resisted. Those Pokemon gonna get destroyed by the Skarmory, and Skarmory only being weak to a fire and electric type Pokemon is going to be completely destroyed by, of course, the Whiscash. So like, this is the best core that you can have, and so your game plan is here for this team to try to stay in with the lead, try to align yourself, try to win the first lead matchup, and then try to win the game based on this. There are still some core breakers though. For example, something like a Feraligatr can be very tricky for this team, because your backline especially is just going to be neutral against it. Like, the fast move here is going to be resisted, and so we're going to be forced to catch a move, which does work out pretty well here on our Greedent. And so we're going to be able to now farm them down, and hopefully going to get to a Brave Bird against the Gastrodon, which is still lurking in the back here. This is going to connect, this is going to get a big boom, and we can knock them out again. Next opponent, let's see what they're going to run. A fellow Noctowl friend. Like, as said before, like, I made a video about the Noctowl, and honestly, Noctowl is still a very solid Pokemon, and it wins the matchup against Greedent as well. And this is like the thing that I kind of want to talk about this team, where I feel like there would be some improvement that they can make. Greedent is cool. Greedent is very, very cool. I like Greedent a lot, but I feel like the kind of less bulk that you have compared to Lickitung is just a little bit better for this kind of scenario. What is also a little bit better might be something like Annihilate. Annihilate would also fit pretty well for this team as a lead, but also a common lead that you see with those kind of teams would be the Shadow Dragonair. Shadow Dragonair allows you to just get a little bit more of fast move pressure in, which is kind of nice. And so I feel like Greedent is a cool Pokemon. It definitely worked out pretty well as well for me, as you can tell by me climbing up with this team. but I feel like there could be some better options as well. But still, here we're going to see a very tricky matchup for us. It's going to be the Charizard. Charizard can be a little bit tricky for our backline because you have the Shadow variant of the Whiscash, as well as we're going to have the Skarmory here still lurking in the back, which is going to be very weak against it. But at this point, I can ask you again, if you want to subscribe to the channel, would really appreciate it. Not even half of the people that watch those videos are actually subscribed, so blast burn that subscribe button, as they're going to get hit by a 1 here right now. Not by a maybe we're gonna get hit by a subscribe button as well, who knows. But if we want to be able to go for a Mud Bomb here against the opponent's Charizard, which is going to hopefully take the knockout, it does take the knockout, and it's going to be a Gallade in the back. And honestly, I most likely should went for the charge move here already, just to try to get the final one for them. But this is actually going to be a tough matchup, because we kinda need to outspeed them here, which we don't, because it's going to be a CMP tie. Great play by the opponent here. They're going to go for another close combat, which is going to knock me out, and so they're going to outspeed also my Whiscash. My only play was to try to farm them down, but they even overfarmed by quite a bit, so very well played by the opponent. We can move on to the next one. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Mantine here in the lead. This is going to be a very tricky one, but it's still kind of okay for you. Here, for example, something like a Lickitung would have a way better matchup, or even a Dragonair would also have an okay matchup. The thing is here, of course, our fast move is going to be double resisted, so we do 1 damage with our fast move, and we have to rely completely on the body slam damage. They're running the Water Pulse here, which is even worse for me, because they can two-shot me with this move. But still, I think we're most likely going to be able to win the zero shield scenario, because 1 is not going to knock me out here, and they're going to swap out anyway into a Steelix, allowing me to go into my Whiscash. And here we have to be a little bit careful, because what we can see here is the opponent has Psychic Fangs, we are Shadow, the opponent is Shadow, so they do a ton of damage with their fast move already. And so I decided to go for the Mud Bomb instead of the Scald. I know that the Mud Bomb does not knock them out from this range, but we have to be kind of a little bit more spammy at this case. Of course, we would have the option to debuff them with the Scald, but I kind of did not really want to risk it. And so what we can do here is we can connect this one, and we can farm them all the way down afterwards, allowing us to align ourselves. I tried to reach a Scald here, it did not work out. I don't think a Mud Bomb really would have helped me out either, but we can go for the Body Slam spam against the opponent's Mantine, which hopefully is going to be great for me. Please just be an Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace, we would still be able to survive. It is going to be a Water Pulse, and so we have to hope that somehow our Skarmory can still win this one. I doubt that we can win this, because they're going to have the Sand Slash in the back. We have a neutral fast move, but our charge move is going to be resisted here, and so I decided to go for my charge move here just because I don't really want to get hit by 3 Ice Punches. But unless the opponent makes a huge mistake here, we should be most likely done for. As you can see, we can go actually for the full farm down. They definitely had another Ice Punch stored. I don't know why they didn't go for this, because like this, we can farm down the opponent's Mantine before they can go for 2 charge moves, and we can actually still win this game. We should have not been able to win this one, but the opponent messed up. Here, the next opponent. This is actually a team, I think it's Exxon ran at least. I don't know if who actually created this team, but it's Exxon was running this team with the normal variant of Feraligatr. And I only saw it after I battled this team here, so I didn't know really what the opponent would have in the back. So, we can go for a Trailblaze against the opponent's Feraligatr, and I make maybe a little bit of a mistake there by not going straight for this, because if we can see here, the opponent just would barely survive the fast move pressure from me. And if I maybe went straight for the Trailblaze, I might have been able to just farm them down with the Mud Shot. But this what is, we're going to be able to align ourselves here, which is going to be very important, as the opponent is going to have the Cresselia in the back. We can go for the buffed Body Slam here, and we can go for another one straight away, which is going to be great for us, because this is going to allow us to just get them below half health. So great start for us so far. I can let this move go through. We still have our Skarmory, and now we have to hope that there's something in the back that we can deal with. It is going to be the Whiscash. This is not really ideal for me, but I decide to let this first move go through, because I can just go for another charge move now anyway. It's going to be an attack drop, which doesn't really matter, because they're most likely going to use a shield here, because I think it's going to be a Brave Bird. And so we have to go into our own Shadow Whiscash. So what can we do here? We force to let the first move go through, because I kind of want to keep the shields for my Skarmory. It's going to be another attack drop immediately, which is really annoying, but we can still at least go for the Mud Bomb spam. I feel like Mud Bomb spam is my better play here right now. But let's see what we can do here. We can go for another Mud Bomb. This is going to be able to connect, and we see we most likely going to be able to two-shot the opponent here as well, as we can maybe use a shield. Maybe using a shield is the right call. I'm not too sure, but I decided to not do this, and I feel like this was a little bit of a mistake, because the opponent can still go for a charge move now. And I think if I went for a shield, I most likely would have tried to swap out into the Cresselia, which would have been fine for me as well, because I would have been able to farm down then with my Skarmory. But like this, they sadly can still go for a Scald and knock me out. Good game there. Next opponent, we're going to have a Mantine. Mantine in the lead again is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. We have to go for the body slam spam, which is going to be a great thing for the Greedent because it is actually the fastest Pokemon together with like the other Pokemon that I showcased yesterday. If you haven't seen my video about the fastest team in Pokemon Go, definitely check it out. Actually, a lot of people watch this, so like shoutouts to you. Thanks for all the support on this video. But here we're going to see the opponent swapping into a Galarian Stunfisk, a Pokemon I really enjoy, but I don't think it's a great save swap in the current meta. Like, literally, please don't use it as a save swap. There are so many Pokemon that are really weak, like, where it's really weak against right now, which are lurking in the back, like a Whiscash, like an Annihilate, so, like, using this as a save swap is a little bit risky here. But we can go for a Scald against the opponent's Mantine. I honestly don't like Scald because I never get the debuff, which we also don't get here again, which would have been so crucial to get the debuff, because as we can see, we would have been able to survive another charge move if we had the debuff here, but we didn't, and so they can go for an Aerial Lace and knock me out, and we can try to go back into our Greedent, because yeah, the fast move of our Skarmory is not going to do really a lot, but actually I decided to go into my Skarmory instead, and we see here that they have in the back a Bastiodon, and this is basically our only way of winning this game. This is actually kind of nice for me, because Trailblaze is coming through. They decide to use a shield straight away, which is kind of okay for me. I can go for another Trailblaze right away as well, going to get another boost onto my attack. And we have double super effective, double boosted Mudshots now from a Greedent against the opponent's Bastiodon. Let's see if this is still going to work out. We're going to get them lower and lower, but we're forced to go for another charge move here. I tried to see Impeta, and it did work out pretty well. So, Stone Edge would knock me out from this range, and so I cannot get the opponent into a range where they have 0 energy on their Bastiodon. And this might be very important, because we have to keep some energy for the opponent's Mantine onto our Skarmory. So I decided to go ahead and go for a Sky Attack now, where I'm close to getting to another one anyway, because the opponent is going to stay in. They're going to try to go for a Flamethrower here, which is totally fine, but now I should have even a Brave Bird stored, I think, at this point. So let's see here. I can go for the Brave Bird. Mantine is coming back in. We can knock them out, and even against a Bastiodon, we were able to win here with a Skarmory, which is absolutely wild. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a decent lead here. It's not the best lead because we don't want to crunch, but they swap out into a Dugong, so we can go for some super effective Trailblaze damage here against the opponent, which is going to get them around like half of the opponent's health there, which is kind of great. I tried to go for another Body Slam, but the opponent decides to go for a charge move prior. I still want to get them opponent like a little bit lower, so I decided to go straight for the Body Slam here, which is still neutral at least in terms of damage, as well as like the attack set that we have, because I want to go for the full farm down with my Skarmory. I know that the opponent still gets to another charge move here, which can debuff our attack, but what we can do is, so we can get a million energy basically here, and a Brave Bird is going to connect very likely soon against the Giratina, and this should put them around like, I don't know, like 30% still of their health. Yeah, okay, maybe like 40% of their health, but I can still go for another charge move, forcing a shield from the opponent. As you know, Giratina usually runs a triple, ghost type moveset, which is going to get completely walled by our Greedent, and so we have a shield advantage. We have Greedent still around with a lot of HP, and we're going to have in the back here our Whiscash against the Vigoroth, but this is still not over. This Pokemon can be actually a little bit tricky because they charge pretty fast, and we have to hope that we're gonna get a debuff here with the Scald. Can we finally get a debuff on this Pokemon here? Let's find out. It's gonna get shielded, and we get the debuff, and that's going to be crucial because now we can just let the Body Slam go through. We saw that we have a little bit of energy on our Greedent already, so we don't really care too much about it as long as we're gonna get them into a Body Slam range. And so what I decided to do is I just decided to go for another Scald, and we're gonna get another debuff, which is lovely. And I decided to go even for another shield here, but now I decided to swap out because I expect them to swap back into the Giratina. We catch the move, which is perfect for us as the Omnious Wind is gonna get wasted here. They don't get to an attack boost here anyway, so like that's going to be great for us as well. Like attack and defense boosts would have most likely been game over for us, but like this, we can farm them down even with our Greedent. But this game is actually still not over. They still have the Vigoroth. They're still gonna get some farm here before I can go for a charge move, which I did not expect, but still, Mud Bomb is coming through. They did not have a Body Slam yet, and so we can win this game. Next opponent, we're going to encounter here Mantine in the lead. This is going to be okay for us again. Like, it's not really the best matchup for us, especially if they're running Water Pulse, which I feel like is becoming more and more common, which I feel is interesting because Ice Beam has quite a decent coverage right now because there are a lot of Altaria floating around in the current meta. So, like, this would definitely make sense as well if they would do an Ice Beam, but no, they're running again on the Water Pulse. So, that's going to be a little bit trickier, but we can still go for the Body Slam spam with our little squirrel here, which is definitely how you say this. But we're going to be able to go ahead and go for another body slam, and we're gonna get them into range where another body slam is going to knock them out. And I think we still barely survive another water pulse, or maybe it's going to be close. I think maybe they're going to knock me out here, but they decide to go for an aerial ace. Huge mistake, because now we can align ourselves. And again, as said in the beginning, alignment is key for this team, as the opponent decides to let this move go through. And we see already they have a good run in the back, so we can swap into our Skarmory. And with this, I expect a certain Pokemon in the back, which we're going to see most likely very soon. But let's find out here. The opponent goes for an Aqua Tail, totally fine for me. And they decide to swap out, not yet, into no Pokemon, so we're gonna see when they're gonna swap out. But you can still go for a Sky Attack, and going to be able to get a shield from the opponent, which is great. We can try to go for another one, but the opponent decides to go for their own charge move again. We are not going to be able to reach another one afterwards, I feel like, so it is going to be tricky. And now they swap into the Lantern. And you might think, oh, great play by the opponent, they called the move. But it actually does not really matter, and it's actually kind of nice that he got the damage off here. Why? Because now, because we're the Shadow variant of the Whiscash, we're gonna put them into perfect range where we can farm them down with Mudshot. And so, while catching the move is usually very decent for them, this was actually more of a hindrance, because now we don't have to go for another charge move here and end up with 1,000,000 energy on our Whiscash, and this is game over. There's nothing they can do about it. And so, we can win this game pretty easily here, and we can move on to the final one for today. So let's see if we can gatekeep some people here. This one is not legend yet, so hopefully we're going to be able to gatekeep him, which is something that people get a little bit annoyed about. But I don't know, really, like, if you want to hit legend, you kind of have to try to fight your way through it, I feel like, especially at this point of the season. Like, I always kind of give away some wins as well at the end of the season, just to forfeit some battles around this Elo range, because also of the queue times. But it is still early into the season, like, there's nothing, like, over yet either. Here the opponent decides to swap out into Dugong, and we have some boosted Trailblaze coming towards them. We can go for another body slam, and maybe we're gonna try to swap out into the Skarmory afterwards again, as this is going to be our best bet in trying to catch a move, but also trying to farm them down. They very likely can go for 2 icy wins against us, but we still should be able to survive both of them, as we can farm them all the way down. We should be putting them into a range where they cannot really do anything afterwards either. I think we can just go for the full farm and get 1,000,000 energy again here on this Pokemon. Honestly, Skarmory is so strong in the current meta. Like, this thing is so overpowered. The opponent goes back into this Whiscash. If they go for the Mud Bomb, we still survive, but they decide to go straight for the Scald. Fine for me. I can align myself. I still have my own Greedent. I still have my own Whiscash. Let's see here. The opponent swaps out into a Talonflame. That's going to be still a little bit of a tough one, but we have to kind of make a call here. We swap out into the Whiscash. What we can do is now we can go up to a Mud Bomb, but I decided to go also for the Mud Bomb instead of the Scald, because we are a little bit in a little bit of a tricky situation here, I would say, because the opponent is going to have a little bit of an energy lead. And as you can see here, like, the opponent is going to get to the charge moves very fast, and Fly does quite a lot of damage against the Whiscash. And so what I decide to do here is I decide to go ahead and try to go straight for the Scald this time around. I'm not baiting this time. I just hope that I maybe either get the debuff here or the knockout, and I take the knockout here for sure, as I can go for another Mud Bomb against the opponent. This is going to be able to get the final shield from them, and I think I might still be able to survive a charge move here. It's going to be very close. The opponent is not Shadow. Can we survive a Scald from the opponent? We can by 1 HP, and so this Mud Bomb is coming through. We didn't get the debuff, and so this is going to take the knockout, and we can win this game. And as you can see here, we were able to climb up back to 3020 rating actually. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.